Hello, everyone, and welcome to TruceTalk. It's New Year's Day, 5 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, January 1st, 2024. In this episode, we'll discuss the history of hypnosis. My name is Lindsay, and I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist and certified hypnosis instructor. Today, I will take you on a journey through the fascinating and mysterious world of hypnosis, from its ancient origins to its modern applications. You will learn about the different theories and techniques of hypnosis, the key figures and events that shaped its development, and the scientific evidence and ethical issues that surround it. You will also have a chance to experience hypnosis for yourself and ask any questions you may have. But before we begin, let me ask you a question or two. What do you think of when you hear the word hypnosis? Do you think of a strange show where people are made to do silly things against their will? Do you think of a magic power that can control your mind and make you do anything? Do you think of a therapy that can cure any problem or disease? Or do you think of something else? Well, whatever you think of, chances are that some of it is true and some of it is false. Hypnosis is a complex and controversial phenomenon that has been misunderstood and misrepresented for centuries. So, let me start by giving you a simple and accurate definition of hypnosis. Hypnosis is a special psychological state with certain physiological attributes resembling sleep, only superficially, and marked by a functioning of the individual at a level of awareness other than the ordinary conscious state. Now, this state is characterized by a degree of increased receptiveness and responsiveness in which inner experiential perceptions are given as much significance as is generally given only to external reality. In other words, hypnosis is a state of focused attention and heightened suggestibility, where you become more aware of your inner experiences and less aware of your surroundings. It is not a loss of control or a state of unconsciousness. It is not something that is done to you by someone else. It is something that you do yourself and with the help of a hypnotist or a self-hypnosis technique. You will learn about the different theories and techniques of hypnosis. The history of hypnosis is as ancient as that of sorcery, magic, and medicine. Indeed, hypnosis has been used as a method in all three. The use of hypnotic-like trance states date back thousands of years to the dawn of civilization. In many cultures, trance states were induced by various methods, such as chanting, drumming, dancing, fasting, meditation, etc., to achieve altered states of consciousness and communicate with supernatural forces. For example, in ancient China, hypnosis was known as Wu Shen, which means divine influence. It was used by shamans to heal diseases, perform rituals, and predict the future. In ancient India, hypnosis was known as Yoga Nidra, which means yogic sleep. It was used by yogis to attain spiritual enlightenment and access higher levels of consciousness. In ancient Egypt, hypnosis was known as incubation, which means sleeping in a sacred place. It was also used by priests to induce dreams and visions from the gods. One of the earliest references to hypnosis in Western literature can be found in the writings of Avicenna ibn Sina, a Persian psychologist and physician who lived in the 10th and 11th centuries. He was the first to make a distinction between sleep and hypnosis. He wrote, "Hypnosis is a condition that can be created in another person so that he or she accepts the reality presented by the hypnotist." The modern history of hypnosis began in the late 18th century with Franz Mesmer, a German physician who used hypnosis in the treatment of patients in Vienna and Paris. He believed that hypnosis was caused by a mysterious force that he called animal magnetism, which flowed from the hypnotist to the subject. He used various techniques such as magnets, iron rods, glass bottles, etc., to manipulate this force and produce healing effects. However, Mesmer's theory and practice were soon discredited by scientific investigations. In 1784, a commission appointed by King Louis XVI of France, which included Benjamin Franklin and Antoine Lavoisier, examined Mesmer's claims and concluded that there was no evidence of animal magnetism. They suggested that the effects of hypnosis were due to imagination, suggestion, and imitation. Despite this setback, Mesmer's followers continued to explore and experiment with hypnosis. Some of them, such as Marquis de Puysegur and Abbe Faria discovered that hypnosis could be induced by verbal commands and eye contact without the use of any physical devices. They also observed that some subjects could enter a deeper state of hypnosis where they exhibited phenomena such as amnesia, anesthesia, hallucinations, and etc. One of the most important figures in the history of hypnosis was James Braid, a Scottish surgeon who lived in the 19th century. He was the first to coin the terms hypnotism and hypnosis as an abbreviation for neurohypnotism or nervous sleep. He also gave the first scientific definition of hypnosis. He said, "Hypnosis is a peculiar condition of the nervous system induced by a fixed and abstracted attention of the mental and visual eye on one object, not of an exciting nature." Braid rejected the idea of animal magnetism and proposed that hypnosis was a natural phenomenon that involved physiological and psychological processes. He also developed various techniques to induce and deepen hypnosis, such as eye fixation and verbal suggestions. Now, in the 20th century and beyond, hypnosis became more popular and respected as a scientific and therapeutic tool. It was used to treat various physical and mental conditions, such as pain, anxiety, phobias, and addictions. It was also used to enhance performance and learning in various domains, such as sports, education, and arts. During this period, many different schools and theories of hypnosis emerged and competed with each other. Some of them focused on the role of suggestion and compliance in hypnosis. Others focused on the role of dissociation and altered states of consciousness in hypnosis. And still others focused on the role of interpersonal relationships and communication patterns in hypnosis. One of the most influential figures in the history of hypnosis was Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis. He initially used hypnosis to treat his patients who suffered from hysteria and neuroses. He also used hypnosis to explore their unconscious memories and conflicts. However, he later abandoned hypnosis in favor of free association and dream analysis. Another influential figure in the history of hypnosis was Clark L. Hull, an American psychologist who conducted extensive experiments on hypnosis in the 1930s. He proposed that hypnosis was a state of enhanced suggestibility that resulted from a conditioned response to verbal stimuli. He also developed various scales and tests to measure hypnotic suggestibility and depth. But perhaps the most influential figure in the history of hypnosis was Milton Erickson. Milton H. Erickson, an American psychiatrist who revolutionized the field of clinical hypnotherapy. He developed a unique approach to hypnosis that emphasized the individuality and creativity of each subject. He used indirect and conversational suggestions that utilized metaphors, stories, and humor to bypass conscious resistance and elicit unconscious resources. He also used various techniques such as confusion and paradoxes. Thank you for joining me today for this podcast on the history of hypnosis. I hope that you enjoyed learning about the fascinating origins, developments, applications of this physiological phenomenon. We have covered a lot of ground in this podcast, so let me briefly recap the main points and the key takeaways I want you to have. Hypnosis is a state of focused attention, heightened suggestibility, and altered consciousness that can be induced by various methods, such as verbal commands, visual cues, or physical sensations. Hypnosis has a long and rich history, dating back to ancient times, when it was used for religious, medical, and entertainment purposes. It has also been influenced by various cultural, scientific, and philosophical movements, such as mesmerism, psychoanalysis, and cognitive behavioral therapy. Hypnosis has many benefits, such as reducing pain, anxiety, and stress, enhancing memory and creativity, and facilitating behavior change. It can also be used for various purposes, such as self-improvement, therapy, education, and entertainment. Hypnosis also has some limitations, such as being dependent on the individual's responsiveness, motivation, and expectations, as well as the skill and rapport of the hypnotherapist. It can also have some adverse effects, such as false memories, dissociation, or negative emotions, if not done properly and ethically. If you are interested in learning about hypnosis or practicing it yourself, here's some tips and some resources that you can use. First, read some books or articles on hypnosis, such as the Oxford Handbook of Hypnosis, Hypnosis, a comprehensive guide, or the history of hypnosis. Watch some videos or podcasts on hypnosis, such as Hypnosis NLP podcast or Hypnosis Training Academy or Hypnotize Me. Take some courses or some workshops on hypnosis, such as the American Society of Clinical Hypnosis or the International Society of Hypnosis or the Milton H. Erickson Foundation. But whatever you do, find a qualified and ethical clinical hypnotherapist near you or online who can guide you through the process of hypnosis or help you with your specific goals or issues. You can use websites such as the National Board for Certified Clinical Hypnotherapists, where you'll find many of the therapists at the Coastal Counseling Destin office are certified through. You can also look on the website for the National Guild of Hypnotists or the International Association of Professional Conversational Hypnotists or the American Council of Hypnotist Examiners. I hope this podcast has sparked your curiosity and interest in hypnosis, and that you will continue to explore and experience this fascinating phenomenon. I would love to hear your feedback and questions, so please feel free to share them with me. You can also contact me via email or social media, or by going directly to our website, www.TruceTalk.com or www.coastalcounselingdestin.com if you have any further inquiries or comments. Thank you for listening and paying attention. Have a wonderful day. We have 364 more to go. Happy New Year.